Hi, Mystery Recapped here. Today, I'm going to explain an action sport movie called Dragon, the Bruce Lee story. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. The movie opens in 1949 with little Bruce Lee emerging from a temple and wandering into a terrifying place. He notices a demonic soldier statue nearby, and then a portion of it falls to the ground. The frightened boy attempts to return inside, but the doors abruptly close. To make matters worse, the demon suddenly comes to life and begins chasing him. At this moment, Bruce's father awakens from his sleep and realizes that it was just a nightmare. He then checks on his son and feels relieved to find him safe. The next day, the man takes his son to meet a respected martial arts master named Yip Man. Over the years, we see Bruce growing up and diligently practicing kung fu under the guidance of his teacher. The scene then cuts to 1961 in Hong Kong during the Chinese New Year festival, where many people are dancing and having fun. Suddenly, a group of British sailors arrive and start wreaking havoc. One of them even drags a girl to dance with him. Seeing this, Bruce Lee intervenes and orders the sailor to leave the girl alone, but the man responds by attacking him, resulting in a violent confrontation. Other soldiers also join the fight, and it appears Bruce is going to get beat up pretty bad, but despite the odds, he hands a solid ass whooping to all the sailors. He then runs away before the cops arrive at the scene. In the morning, Bruce tries to sneak inside the house, but his father catches him. It is revealed that the police came looking for him because the people he fought were very powerful. Sailors often are. Dad is now worried for his safety and insists that he leave the country. Bruce considers the idea ridiculous, but his father reveals a shocking truth. It turns out Bruce once had an older brother who died at childbirth. He explained that their family's sons are cursed, and when Bruce was born, his parents made him dress as a girl and taught him English to fool the demon. However, the demon has now discovered his true identity and intends to harm him. Upon hearing all of this, Bruce remains skeptical, but his father insists that it's true and suggests he go to the US. He reveals that Bruce was born in San Francisco while his parents were on tour, making him a US citizen. Dad then hands him the birth certificate and urges him to achieve success so that his name will be known even in Hong Kong. Bruce is thrilled with the opportunity, so he finally agrees to his father's request. After arriving in the US, Bruce starts working as a dishwasher at a Chinese restaurant. There, an attractive waitress named April constantly flirts with him. This makes the head chef very jealous, as he has a crush on her. As a result, he seizes every opportunity to bully Bruce and make things difficult for him. One evening after work, April unexpectedly shows up in Bruce's room and they make love. The next day, they seem extremely close and flirt with each other at work. The Pokemon, who was named after Bruce, should have been named Hitmonraze. This catches the attention of the head chef, who becomes very angry. He immediately attacks Bruce, and when the latter fights back, the other three chefs join in and band together against him. Despite their combined efforts, though, Bruce manages to defeat them without breaking a sweat. Shortly after, their manager, Miss Yang, arrives and stops the fight. She then summons Bruce to her office and fires him for causing problems. She also gives him his remaining salary plus some extra as a personal loan. This surprises Bruce, but Miss Yang urges him to use the money for education and repay her once he starts earning. Following this, Bruce enrolls in a local university and begins studying philosophy. Ooh, he's not gonna get a job. One day, while working out in the campus gym, some bullies approach him and order him to leave. When he refuses, the head bully begins making racist remarks, which infuriates Bruce. This leads to an argument that soon escalates into a physical fight. As expected, our hero easily defeats the head bully with ease. The other bullies also charge at him, but Bruce manages to take them all down within seconds. Once he's done, Bruce walks out of the gym, but is soon approached by two of the bullies from earlier. They express their desire to learn kung fu and ask if he can teach them. Bruce is reluctant at first, but when they continue to insist, he eventually agrees. In the next scene, Bruce begins teaching kung fu to a few students on campus, and he quickly gains popularity. One day, while he's showing the students how to flow like water, a beautiful girl named Linda arrives. She expresses an interest in learning kung fu, which surprises Bruce, but he seems to be smitten smitten by her and agrees right away. He's going to show her his famous 1-inch punch. In the following days, Linda begins attending the class and proves to be a quick learner. She and Bruce become closer over time and they eventually begin dating. One evening, he brings her to a dilapidated studio where he intends to open his Kung Fu Institute. The couple then renovates the rundown place into a thriving Kung Fu center, which soon fills with many students. One day, Linda brings Bruce to her house to finally meet her mother. The two open up their relationship, but their mother does not take the news well. She belittles Bruce, stating that although he's a U.S. citizen on paper, he will never truly be American. She also mentions that their future children would be considered half-breeds and mistreated in this society. Bruce feels insulted by the comment and storms out of the house, but Linda follows him and makes it clear that she chooses him over her mother, whom she probably should have told he was Chinese before he arrived. Sometime later, Bruce visits Miss Yang to return the money she lent him long ago. Afterward, he and Linda get married and move into their own apartment. Bruce then focuses on running his institute, while Linda helps him with management. One day, an African-American man named Jerome visits them and expresses his desire to learn Kung Fu. Bruce agrees to teach him, which shocks Jerome. He reveals that most Chinese instructors immediately reject him and refuse to even let him enter. However, Bruce assures him that he's not like them and doesn't discriminate against any race. In the next scene, a Chinese child enters the institute and hands Linda a letter before running away. Upon reading the letter, Bruce goes to a nearby restaurant where several Kung Fu masters have gathered. These men are furious that he's teaching Kung Fu to non-Asians, whom they regard as enemies. Bruce tries to reason that they should not hide their culture from others, but rather spread it. However, the masters disagree and order him to stop his activities. They claim that if he does not comply, the only option is to settle the issue through combat. Bruce isn't intimidated by their threats, so he happily accepts the challenge. The scene then cuts to the fight day, but Bruce still hasn't told Linda about it. He and Jerome arrive at the location where he'll face a martial artist named Johnny Sun. It is then revealed that this guy has killed many people in combat. Jerome warns Bruce that it is dangerous and advises him to back out, but he's confident in his win. Soon enough, the fight begins and it becomes evident that both parties are exceptionally skilled, but it is Bruce Lee who gains the upper hand and deals some serious damage to his opponent. In the end, a severely injured Johnny gives up, bringing the fight to an end. Bruce then informs the masters that he will teach whoever he wants and proceeds to leave. But to his dismay, an injured Johnny gets up and delivers a flying kick to Bruce from behind, breaking his back. In the next scene, Linda arrives at the hospital where the doctor reveals that her husband has been temporarily paralyzed. She goes to see Bruce, but he is upset to see her and asks her to leave. He advises her to return to her mother now that he has become disabled. However, Linda refuses to give up on him and walks out of the room. Later that evening, she returns and informs him that she will stay with him for better or worse. Linda also reveals that she's pregnant, which immediately lifts Bruce's spirits. She now plans to write a book about his Kung Fu techniques so that the entire world can know who he is. Following this, Bruce starts sharing everything he has learned about Kung Fu, and Linda attentively writes it all down. The scene then shifts to a few months later, where we see Bruce, who can now move around in his wheelchair. He arrives at the hospital to discover Linda has given birth to a baby boy. The couple is overjoyed, and they name their son Brandon. Fast forward a couple of years, and Hollywood is remaking the movie that killed Brandon, proving that nothing is sacred or smart in this world. But fast forward only a few months, Bruce is fully recovered from his injuries and is walking normally again. He resumes his workout routine with renewed vigor and prepares to return to Kung Fu. During this time, he finally publishes his book, which receives widespread acclaim and solidifies his place in the Kung Fu community. One day, Bruce attends a book event where he shares his theories on improving Kung Fu. However, in the middle of his speech, the audience boos him, claiming that he can't fight anymore. Bruce gets upset and declares that he can defeat any man there within 60 seconds. Linda reminds him that he cannot fight as per the doctor's orders, but he assures her that he'll be fine. At this point, Johnny's son emerges from the crowd, claiming that he has already defeated Bruce and can do it again. The two then fight, and Johnny seems to have the upper hand at first. However, Bruce regains his strength and delivers a powerful kick, sending Johnny crashing to the ground. This victory earns our hero the admiration of the audience and the respect that he had lost. After the match, Bruce proceeds to leave, but he is soon approached by a TV producer producer named Bill Krieger. The man is impressed by his moves and asks if he'd like to perform them on camera. He then offers him a role in a television series called The Green Hornet. Bruce is excited by the opportunity and agrees right away. Days later, he arrives at the shooting location, where some crew members underestimate him due to his ethnicity. The director even prefers that he keep the mask on to prevent people from seeing his face. Soon, the shooting begins, and Bruce makes a spectacular entrance. He amazes everyone with his insane movements, and effortlessly crushes everything in his path. Afterward, Bill praises his performance and shares his idea for a new TV series called Kung Fu, in which Bruce would play the lead role. In the next scene, Bruce and Linda attend Bill's casting party. This is when she reveals that she's pregnant with their second child, which makes him very happy. However, the celebration takes an unexpected turn when Bill announces that the Green Hornet has been cancelled after only one season. But Bruce doesn't seem too worried, since he's looking forward to the upcoming Kung Fu series. In the following days, he attempts to contact Bill regarding the series, but receives no response. The couple grows concerned because they have bills to pay. One day, Bruce is shocked to discover that the Kung Fu series has already aired on television with a white actor in the lead role. He becomes dismayed when he realizes Bill has betrayed him. To make matters worse, Bruce receives devastating news that his father has passed away. He travels to Hong Kong and is seen weeping at his father's funeral. During this time, he keeps having terrifying visions of the demonic soldier that used to haunt his dad. A distressed Bruce then goes to meet his former master, Yip Man, and seeks his help. The wise old man reveals that Bruce's father was aware of the demon and therefore made him learn Kung Fu to defend himself. Yip Man also explains that when Bruce reaches his peak, the demon will approach him, and he must be prepared for a confrontation. Upon hearing this, Bruce decides to head back to the US, but he encounters a Hong Kong producer named Philip Tan on the ship. The man claims that he has been searching for him throughout the city for the past few days. He reveals that Bruce's Green Hornet character, Kato, is popular in Asia with a large fan base. Philip then urges him to stay in Hong Kong so that they can discuss business. Bruce is reluctant, as he has already been betrayed by a producer once, but when the man continues to insist, he finally decides to give it a chance. A few days later, Philip hires him to play the lead role in the film The Big Boss. The movie becomes a huge hit, and Bruce rises to superstardom in the Asian movie industry. As a result, his family also arrives in Hong Kong to live with him. He then goes on to star in several more films, taking on roles as an actor, director, writer, and editor. As Bruce continues to achieve more and more success, it causes estrangement between him and Linda. His hectic schedule leaves little time for his family, making them feel isolated in this foreign land. One day, Linda finally confronts him and requests that they return to the US, but this only angers Bruce, and he says that he spent 10 years in that place and received nothing but discrimination and racism. He claims that he has gained stardom here, which he doesn't want to lose, but Linda insists that even if he doesn't agree, she'll leave with the kids. Days later, Bill approaches Bruce and offers him a role in a big-budget Hollywood film called Enter the Dragon. He reveals that it'll be a feature film that will be shot in Hong Kong. Our hero is still upset with him, but Bill urges him to move on from the past and points out that this is a huge opportunity. In the end, Bruce agrees to take the role due to Linda's desire to return home. He then discusses the situation with Philip, who's upset that he's leaving the place that gave him everything. However, Bruce apologizes, stating that he cannot lose his wife and children, who are the most important things in his life. The scene then cuts to the 32nd day of filming Enter the Dragon, where Bruce is working on a scene in a room full of mirrors. During this time, he feels an earthquake and sees a terrifying vision of the demonic soldier who has been haunting him. The demon begins to brutally beat him and shows him his own grave just as he is about to finish
Bruce off. Brandon appears and calls out for his father. The demon then leaves Bruce and moves on to attack the little boy. This prompts Bruce to fight back, and he shatters the villain's neck with a pair of nunchaku. After the demon finally collapses, our hero awakens to reality and realizes it was just one of his visions. He then returns home immediately and is relieved to see his son safe. In the final scene, Linda narrates that Bruce fell into a mysterious coma and died 3 weeks before the release of Enter the Dragon at the age of 32. It was the movie that brought him widespread fame and established him as an international star. More than 25,000 people attended his funeral in Hong Kong, but Linda chose to bury him in America so he he could be close to home. She says that many people are interested to know how he died, but she prefers to remember how he lived.